that the arrival of COVID would be the end of the anti-science world.
Were you right?
I was never so wrong in my life.
A new documentary is exploring the anti-vaccine movement that exploded during COVID, but was causing public health issues before COVID. The film starts in 2019 with an investigation into measles outbreak in Samoa. That outbreak was partly sparked by Robert Kennedy Jr., a longtime vaccine opponent in many ways, who is now running for president. Neil deGrasse Tyson is the executive producer of A Shot in the Arm. He joins us now. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Let me make it clear, as an astrophysicist, what I'm contributing primarily to this film is its capacity to communicate science, which is something I've done professionally for decades.
Well, and that was going to be my first question, because we think of you as an astrophysicist, as the space guy.
As you should.
Right? Why this issue of vaccines? What is the point you're trying to make with this film?
There's a deeper prevailing state of mind that is in our culture today, and it's an anti-science attitude. That it's what breeds thinking like the flat Earth, or if you're anti-climate change. It's the same root cause, and in this particular case, it fed people's anxieties about vaccines, which just made everything worse regarding the pandemic.
Well, we're looking at some video right there of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the film's director, Scott Hamilton Kennedy, no relation to that other Kennedy family, actually spoke with RFK Jr., this was before he was running for president, about what happened in Samoa. Here's a clip.
Yeah, I'm aware there was a measles outbreak, but I didn't have anything, I had nothing to do with people not vaccinating in Samoa. I never told anybody not to vaccinate. I didn't, go there for any reason to do with it.
And then the film makes the point that he did go there, and his language was pretty clear on that. Why is it important, in your view, to call him out, to make this point?
Well, for me, a bigger issue is, how are we trained as citizens to spot misinformation or disinformation? Because you can go chasing after leaders. By the way, he's an important but small part of the total runtime of the film. The runtime of the film explores the people who did not have the tools to say, no, this is not right. He's telling me what I want to hear and what feels good to me and what I want to be true. But just because you want something to be true does not make it true. And these are the biases we carry from childhood into adulthood if we don't otherwise put in sort of protective shields against it.
And just for your broader point about disinformation, about understanding the world, what is your most important advice to everybody watching right now? We're just inundated with information coming at them from every place possible in order to understand what's true and what's not true.
Really, really good question there. So let me just say, if I were to summarize the scientific method in like 1.5 sentences, it would be, do whatever it takes to not fool yourself into thinking something is true that is not, or that something is not true that is. Did I say that right? I'm trying to get the opposite. And what that means is, do you have the tools to spot if someone is not speaking what is established scientific canon? And by the way, there are people who have pedigree, have YouTube channels, and they'll say things like, I'm your advocate, and I know what I'm talking about, yet the establishment, they do not have your interest in mind. This is irresistible clickbait, because you see the one person in there, you can identify with an individual face, whereas peer-reviewed science journal articles, you don't know who published them, you don't see their faces, but they're peer-reviewed, and they work their way into established medical advice, but there's no charisma associated with it. That doesn't have a YouTube channel. They're not saying, I'm out for your interest. So there's a mismatch here in the forces operating on our emotions.
Well, you've got a lot of charisma, and you've got some pretty good channels out there. So thank you for being part and pushing back against that a little bit. Would love to have you back on and talk more about space stuff. I'm such a space geek and would love to do that. But Neil deGrasse Tyson, we want to tell everybody that that film, Shot in the Arm, premieres in L.A. at the Laemmle Cinemas in Glendale this Friday, November 17th. Executive producer Neil deGrasse Tyson, filmmaker Scott Hamilton Kennedy will be on hand for some Q&A. Neil deGrasse Tyson, congrats on the film. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.